I am in Webuye, sitting in my hotel room. This is New Race Hotel in Webuye. I can see it has ample parking place, and just in front of the hotel you can see maize. You know, the Webuye is an agricultural town. You can see those maize, and beyond the maize you can see that is the district hospital. That is the district hospital Webuye. Let's see, there it is, the district hospital Webuye. Yes, this is the Webuye district hospital, just in front of me. And we go beyond this district hospital Webuye, and we now climb. What we are now seeing is the Chetambe Hills. There they are, just surrounding Webuye. You are Webuye and you are in the valley, and those are the Chetambe Hills, stretching across as far as my camera can see from my hotel room. I am in New Race Hotel in Webuye, and you can see the district hospital. Below the district hospital is maize. So Webuye is an agricultural town. Around Webuye will also be sugarcane, and there we are. Beyond Webuye, there are those Chetambe Hills. Those are Chetambe Hills. Now, what is special about these Chetambe Hills? In these Chetambe Hills, there was a Fort Chetambe, built by the man called Chetambe Ilife. He was an Atachoni, a Mungaji by clan. This fort was used for a security or bunker or whatever you wanted to retreat to when in times of war. So in 1895, when the bukusu were fighting the colonialists, they had fought them from many places, Mavanga and all that, and they were being chased by the troops of the colonialists, the British, who had recruited some locals from Sudan, Uganda, many other sub-tribes of the Luya, the Wanga and all that, even as far as the Swahili, who are the loyalists fighting the bukusu who are resisting colonialization. So when they chased the bukusus up to Webuye, by that time it was called BDF, Broderick Falls. It only changed to Webuye after independence, and the name Webuye was gotten from one of the Goplas, who was making shoes during the Kenya-Uganda railways, when they camped in Webuye, and that Gopla was very efficient and so became very prominent in the BDF Broderick Falls. So when the idea of changing British names, English names to African names, it was unanimously accepted that Webuye would be given the honor, and therefore Webuye, that's after independence. Now back to 1895. In 1895, like I said, the British, the colonialists were chasing the bukusu who were resisting colonialization. And when the bukusu reached this Chetambe, they found a fort built by Mungachi, Mtachoni Mungachi, called Chetambe Ifile, and they settled, they went into that fort as their last resistant plot or location. The bukusu believed that with their mere spears, they will defeat the colonialists with their guns. It reminds us of the Tanganyika Maji rebellion, which was also against colonialism and against the German. They believed somebody, shall you call him a witch doctor or a witchcraft, whatever, they applied some water, Maji, which they believed that the German bullet will not hurt them. That gave them the courage to stand and fight. The same thing with the bukusu here, or a similar thing. They believed that the spear will finish the British. However, when we call it the rubber meets the road, the bukusu were massacred by the superior guns and bullets. Literally everybody was wiped out, but not before they also killed a number of the British and the loyalists in guns. So that marked, if you want, the end or a major stop in the fight against colonialism by the bukusu. So relative peace was acquired, and the British, the colonialists, continued to rule. 50 or so years down the line, in 1948, the spirit of the fighting, the forefathers, bukusu forefathers, was not gone. It came back through Elijah Masinde Wanameme. So in 1948, to get the courage and the spiritual support, he came to these Chetambe Hills to make a sacrifice to the ancestors who died fighting for the soil of the bukusu. And the gathering, the followers of Elijah Masinde, was enormous. They came, sacrificed here, feasted in preparation to launch a new uprising, a new attack to the colonialists. But when the colonialists heard of that, then they feared. They said this Elijah Masinde with his followers are going to be a new dangerous group to deal with. So, as we say, the snake, you see the snake starts rotting from the head. They wanted to remove the head. They wanted to remove Elijah Masinde so that the followers will be demotivated. So indeed, Elijah Masinde became a 100 man. He had made a bunker, an underground kind of hiding in Chesamisi. Eventually they followed him in 1948 and they arrested him, took him away, first to Kakamega, then to Kapenguria, and at Kapenguria he met Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, the founding father of the Kenya government, or Kenya as a country, and they became kind of friends. Elijah was a prophet, was a seer, and was a preacher. He could predict a number of things. While in prison with Jomo Kenyatta in Kapenguria, there was a plan to assassinate Jomo Kenyatta, then called Johnston Kamau. There was a plan to assassinate him, and as a seer, Elijah Masinde foresaw that. Then he warned Kenyatta and gave him a strategy of eliminating, or rather avoiding or escaping that plan, and indeed successfully did so. So they became quite friends. Kenyatta later was released. Masinde continued to be in prison. And when Kenyatta now became president, first president in the 1960s, and released Masinde. Masinde came out, met Kenyatta again. They remembered their fight for colonialism, and Masinde remembered that their clarion call was for the Muzungu to go away and leave the land which he had illegally occupied. So if the Mzungu went away, the land was to come back to the Africans. So Masinde reminded Kenyatta so. Kenyatta was now of a different opinion. Land was not going to be given back for free, and therefore, again, they differed. And while Masinde insisted that therefore there is no freedom, then Kenyatta, now on the throne, imprisoned Masinde again because of that difference. So Masinde again went back to prison. So Masinde was in prison during colonialism, before independence, and then briefly after independence, and again back to prison. He was like a jail bird, a prison bird, if you want, in and out. Well, when the second president of the country, Daniel Arap Moi, came to power, again he released prisoners, including Elijah Masinde. When Elijah Masinde came out, he noticed that there was lots of corruption during the Moi regime. He started openly fighting that regime, or rather that corruption. Moi had again to send him back to jail, calling them a stubborn man, so to speak. So again, Masinde went back to jail, jailed before independence and after independence, because Masinde believed that even after independence, freedom had not come. The land had not been given back to the people. Corruption started building up. So Moi sent him back. And as I said, Masinde was in and out of prison on several occasions. Then, much later, he was released, and he never stopped fighting for freedom. In 1987, he died, kind of a neglected freedom fighter. The members of parliament from the western side of Kenya, I remember people like Saulo Busolo, people like Martin Shikuku, people like Mukhisa Kitui, Kombo, all mentioned them. They were fronting for Elijah Masinde to be recognized as a freedom fighter, but it was a struggle. So in 2023, Senator of Nairobi, Senator Sifuna, successfully applied for recognition of Elijah Masinde as a freedom fighter and a religious leader. Why so? Religious leader, because Masinde was fighting using the vehicle of religion, and his religion was Dini ya Msambwa. So in recognition of him as a freedom fighter, there is no avoiding of recognizing that he was also a preacher or a religious leader. So in 2023, Elijah Masinde was posthumously recognized as a freedom fighter. And therefore, when I come here and I see those Chetambe Hills, I remember what the bukusu went through, what Masinde went through, and I want to say, indeed, Masinde was my own angle. Narrating is Professor Henry Wesa, Professor of Entrepreneurship retired from the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, retired in 2024, but not tired. Retired but not tired. Retired but not expired. I still keep gathering information, knowledge, and disseminating them through this. So the next time I'll be talking about Elijah Masinde and his contribution to agriculture, agripreneurship, education, technology, and innovation. So this is the Chetambe Hills, just overhanging Webuye, where stood the Chetambe fort, where the Bukusu fought and were massacred in 1895, with Masinde Muliro coming to Elijah Masinde, not Masinde Muliro, but Elijah Masinde Wanameme, coming to revive the fight for freedom, and myself being again imprisoned, but indeed we got our freedom. I am making this on the 1st of June 2025. This is a Madaraka Day, and therefore it makes me remember how far we have come and where we have come from. Thank you, and keep watching us.